Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, now I can hear it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hello.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmitam Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahim Dadati Spadvadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lita Shri Vishaka Anvitam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Panchakalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, reading from Śrīla Prabhupāda-līlāmṛta, Volume 1, Chapter 31, in continuation. In July, Prabhupada visited San Francisco for the 4th annual ISKCON Rath Yatra. It was the biggest festival ever, with 10,000 people joining the procession through Golden Gate Park to the beach. Prabhupada felt ill and didn't join the parade until about midway. He danced in the road before the carts as 100 disciples encircled him, chanting and playing kartals and mridangas. Afterward, Prabhupada wanted to ride in the cart just as he had done the year before, but some of his disciples restrained him. A gang of hoodlums, they said, had caused trouble earlier, and for Prabhupada to ride on the cart might be dangerous. He disagreed but finally relented and rode in his car to the beach. At the Family Dog Auditorium on the beach, Prabhupada began his lecture. I want to thank you all for coming. Although I am not well, I felt I felt it my responsibility to come, as you have so kindly attended Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra festival. I felt it my duty to come and see you and address you. His voice was frail. Later in his apartment in San Francisco, Prabhupada complained that he had not been allowed to ride in the cart. As leader of the Hare Krishna movement, he should have ridden on the cart. Not only had his disciples refused him, but several disciples had prominently ridden on the cart as if in his place. Prabhupada asked the many temple presidents assembled for Rath Yatra to meet and discuss forming a governing body to manage ISKCON. The devotees met and then reported that they thought only one of them should be elected the chief representative. They hadn't understood. The strength should be in a group, Prabhupada said, not in a single individual. Since he was ISKCON's founder Acharya, what need was there for another single leader? He asked them to meet again. Returning to Los Angeles, Prabhupada announced he would award several of his disciples the sannyas order. The devotee community excitedly prepared for the festival. The sannyasis, Prabhupada said, would leave their temples to travel and preach. It was an unprecedented change for ISKCON, a sensation, and the devotees loved it. Although Prabhupada was awarding sannyas to some of his most advanced disciples, he also said in the sannyas initiation was to purify these disciples and to rid them of their entanglement in material desires. He said the initiation for the end of July, 2 weeks later. One day in Los Angeles, a visiting devotee speaking with Prabhupada in his room humbly asked why Prabhupada hadn't answered his questions in a recent letter. Prabhupada remembered no such letter. Inquiring from his secretary, Prabhupada discovered that his secretary often showed incoming letters to certain temple leaders, who at their discretion would sometimes withhold letters they considered petty or too disturbing. Prabhupada was outraged. How dare they come between him and his other disciples? How could they presume to make such decisions on their own? How could a disciple censor his spiritual master's mail? Although Prabhupada reprimanded the devotees involved, the incident only increased the already heavy burden on his mind. Again, the thought of spiritual disease transmitted in letters from India disturbed him. He found no one close to him in Los Angeles with whom he could speak confidentially about the serious minimization of the spiritual master. As his anxiety affected his bodily, he fell ill and stopped eating. Karandar, I have heard some things, but in the spirit of going on, it had all been uh, glossed over. And Papa didn't talk much about it either. One time, though, I was in his room right after the sannyasis had left Los Angeles and he asked me if I understood what had gone on. I said, well, I think so, but I didn't really know very much. At the time, the devotees who were going out on Sankirtan were in the alleyway chanting, and Prabhupada was at his desk. Hearing the kirtan, he turned back, looking in the direction of the devotees below his window and smiled. Then he turned to me. They are innocent, he said. Do not involve them in this business. Karandar still didn't understand and he wondered what not to involve them in. He didn't know, however, that a shadow was hanging over the heads of sannyasis. Prabhupada requested three trusted disciples to come be with him in Los Angeles. Rupanuga. I was in Buffalo and the phone rang. Someone said, Srila Prabhupada is on the telephone. I said, what? You're kidding? It wasn't Srila Prabhupada, but it was his servant Devananda. Devananda said, Srila Prabhupada wants you to come to Los Angeles. I said, what's wrong? He said, well, doesn't want. Then he said, Srila Prabhupada wants to talk about it now. So Srila Prabhupada got on the phone, and as soon as I heard him on the line, I paid my obeisances. Then I said, Srila Prabhupada, what's wrong? He said, you didn't know I was ill? I said, no. He said, you should come immediately. Then I said, Srila Prabhupada, let me speak to Devananda. I didn't know what was going on, so I asked Devananda, tell me what's going on. Then he said, Srila Prabhupada said he will talk with you when you come. He will explain everything. Bhagavan Das. One day, after coming back from Sankirtan, I received a call from Rupanuga, who told me he was on his way to Los Angeles, having received a call from Prabhupada that there was some disturbance there. He couldn't tell me more, but he said he would call me when he returned. This set my mind reeling. I sat in the chair, hot and sweaty after coming back from Sankirtan, my mind absorbed in thinking of Prabhupada and what could be going on. I called Los Angeles to talk to Prabhupada's secretary Devananda, who told me he couldn't really say anything at that point. I was hoping somehow or other I would get more information of the situation, but after waiting some time, I went in to take my shower. I was in the shower when all of a sudden someone banged on the door. Prabhupada is on the telephone. He wants to speak with you. I was sure that there was something misunderstanding. How is it possible that a spiritual master could be on the phone? Anyway, I ran out of the shower all wet and picked up the telephone and said hello. There was a long pause. Then all of a sudden I heard Srila Prabhupada's voice on the other end. Bhagavan Das? Yes, I said. Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. How can I serve you? I was completely stunned. Then Prabhupada's voice came slowly on the telephone. There are many things that you will do, but the first thing is that you must come here immediately. I said, of course, Srila Prabhupada, I will be there right away. And with that, we both hung up. I managed to gather the money together to take the flight to Los Angeles, and when I got on the plane in Detroit, it just so happened that Rupanaga was also on the same plane. We sat together and discussed what could possibly be happening in Los Angeles to cause Srila Prabhupada so much distress. When we arrived at the airport, Karandar picked us up and told us that some of the older devotees have been plotting against Prabhupada, and that day Prabhupada had given several of the men sannyas and sent them away to preach. This was all quite amazing to me, and I didn't really know what to make of it. When we came into Prabhupada's room, he looked distressed and was rubbing his head, complaining of blood pressure that was caused by conspiracy. Tamal Krishna. I had written Srila Prabhupada a lengthy letter from Paris describing how we wanted to expand our preaching efforts in Europe, and suddenly I received a telegram from His Divine Grace that said, "Received your letter 26 July, come Los Angeles immediately." I was quite surprised, and I remember disentangling myself that very day and leaving that night, even though I was in charge of activities there. When I arrived in Los Angeles, I found Rupanuga, Bhagavan, Kirtanananda, and Karandan. I was in a very enthusiastic, blissful mood from having done so much Sankirtan, and I had no idea of any difficulty. But these devotees were all in a heavy, sober, and somber mood, and they tried to explain to me what was going on. But actually, I could not get a very clear understanding. I had arrived in the late afternoon, and I could not see Srila Prabhupada. Early the next morning, when Prabhupada was informed that I had arrived, he called for me before Mangalarti. I went up to his quarters, and when I came through the door, Prabhupada was sitting in his room with his head downward. He looked up and he appeared to be almost ill. He was gaunt and looked very sorrowful. He said meekly, just as I was bowing down, "Have they told you?" Of course, I hadn't really understood everything, but in reply to his question, I said, "Yes, they have told me some things." And Prabhupada said, "Can you help me?" So I answered, "Yes, Srila Prabhupada." He said, "Can you take me out of here?" I said, "Yes, Srila Prabhupada." Of course, I didn't feel that I could help Srila Prabhupada, but I could understand that I had to say yes. How can I say no, I won't? But how far I could could I help? It's like lifting the heaviest object in the world. The Guru is so heavy, and yet I had to say yes. So Prabhupada asked me next, "Where will you take me?" And I said, "Well, we can go to Florida." He said, "No, that is not far enough." I said, "I could take you to Europe." He said, "No, that's also will not be good. The problem may be there also." So anyway, we didn't conclude where to go at that time, but Prabhupada said, "It is like a fire here. I must leave at once. It has become like a fire." Prabhupada confided in Rupanuga, Tamal Krishna and Bhagavan about the various incidents. His mail withheld, his name misprinted, his riding in the Rath Yatra parade restricted. He mentioned these and other incidents that certain persons wanted to move him into background out of the reach of his disciples. He didn't want to stay in Los Angeles. He didn't want to stay in the United States. He didn't even want to go to Europe. He wanted to leave the arena of his disciples' offenses. But before leaving, he wanted to complete his plans for establishing a governing body to manage ISKCON. To this end, he dictated the following on July 28. In the undersigned, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, disciple of Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa, 108 Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, came in the United States in 1965 on September 18th for the purpose of starting Krishna consciousness movement. For 1 year, I had no shelter. I was traveling in many parts of this country. Then, in 1966 July, I incorporated the society under the name and style the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, briefly ISKCON. Gradually, the society increased, and one after another branches were opened. Now we have got 34 branches listed here with. As we have increased our volume of activities, now I think a governing body commission hereinafter referred to as GBC should be established. I am getting old, 75 years old, Therefore, at any time I may be out of the scene. Therefore, I think it is necessary to give instruction to my disciples how they shall manage the whole institution. They are already managing individual centers presented by one president, one secretary, and one treasurer, and in my opinion, they are doing nice. But we want still more improvement in the standard of temple management, propaganda for Krishna consciousness, distribution of books and literatures, opening of new centers, and educating devotees to the right standard. Therefore, I have decided to adopt the following principles, and I hope my beloved disciples will kindly accept them. Prabhupada then listed the names of 12 persons who would form the GBC. Shriman Rupanuga Das Adhikari, Shriman Bhagavan Das Adhikari, Shriman Shyam Sundar Das Adhikari, Shriman Satswarupa Das Adhikari, Shriman Karandar Das Adhikari, Shriman Hansadutta Das Adhikari, Shriman Tamal Krishna Das Adhikari, Shriman Sudama Das Adhikari, Shriman Bali Mardhan Das Brahmachari, Shriman Jagadish Das Adhikari, Shriman Hayagriva Das Adhikari, Shriman Krishna Das Adhikari. These personalities are now considered as my direct representatives. While I am living, they will act as my zonal secretaries, and after my demise, they will be known as executors. Prabhupada further described the roles of sannyasis. I have already awarded sannyas or the renounced order of life to some of my students, and they have also got very important duties to perform in this connection. The sannyasis will travel to our different centers for preaching purposes as well as enlightening the members of the center for spiritual advancement. Prabhupada's legal document went on to set forth general directions for the GBC secretaries. They should travel regularly to the temples in their respective zones to ensure that each devotee chanted 16 rounds and followed a regulated schedule and that the temples were clean. His 12 GBC secretaries would relieve him of management and they would rectify present and future difficulties within the society. Their rectification, Prabhupada's document explained, would be possible only when the devotees in each temple engaged fully in regulated devotional service, rising early for Mangalarti at 4:30, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class and reciting the Sanskrit verses and chanting in the streets and distributing back to Godhead magazines and other Krishna conscious literature. This emphasis on strict following Krishna conscious principles would supersede all material formulas for management. The GBC would ensure that in their appointed zones all the devotees were properly engaged. There would be no Maya. The next day, Prabhupada drafted another significant statement, namely naming Bhagavan, Rupanuga, and Karandara trustees of his Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Bhaktivedanta Book Trust account will be used to publish my books and literature and to establish temples throughout the world. Specifically, three temples are to be established. One is in Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri. Since returning to America in 1967, Prabhupada had often said he would stay permanently in America as the adopted son of his disciples. Now he revealed new plans. He spoke of going to India to preach and to establish large ISKCON temples for the devotees who based their activities mostly in small rented houses. Prabhupada's constructing cathedral-like building in India was inconceivable. In India, Prabhupada said he would teach his disciples how to preach and how to establish temples. Prabhupada picked a team including two newly initiated sannyasis to accompany him to India. In the future, he said, more disciples could join him, for India would become an important field for Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada wrote Satsvarupa and Uddhava in Boston. You are my children, and I love my American boys and girls who are sent to me by my spiritual master, and I have accepted them as my disciples. Before coming to your country, I took sannyas in 1959. I was publishing Back to Godhead since 1944. After taking sannyas, I was more engaged in writing my books without any attempt to construct temples or to make disciples like my other god brothers in India. I was not very much interested in these matters because my Guru Maharaj liked very much publishing of books than constructing big temples and creating some neophyte disciples. As soon as I saw that his neophyte disciples were increasing in number, he immediately, as soon as he saw, he immediately decided to leave this world. To accept disciples means to take up the responsibility of absorbing the sinful reaction of life of the disciple. At the present moment in our ISKCON campus, politics and diplomacy has entered. Some of my beloved students on whom I could I counted very much, have been involved in this matter, influencing by Maya. As such, there has been some activity which I considered as disrespectful. I have decided to retire and divert attention to book writing and nothing more. On July 31st, Prabhupada wrote Brahmananda and Gargamuni explaining why he was leaving for India. In order to set example to my other sannyasi students, I am personally going to Japan with a party of 3 other sannyasi students. Although it is beyond my physical condition, still I am going out so that you may learn the responsibility of sannyas. I am fervently appealing to you all not to create fracture in the solid body of the society. Please work conjointly without any personal ambition. That will help the cause. It is the injunction of Vedas that a spiritual master should not be treated as ordinary man. Even sometimes the spiritual master behaves like ordinary man. It is the duty of the disciple to accept him as superhuman man. In the beginning of your letter, your comparison of the soldier and commander is very appropriate. We are on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. One side Maya, other side is Krishna. So, the regulative principles of a battlefield, namely to abide by the order of the commander, must be followed. Otherwise, it is impossible to direct the fighting capacity of the soldiers and thus defeat the opposing elements. Kindly, therefore, take courage. Let things be rightly done so that our mission may be correctly pushed forward to come out victorious. Prabhupada wrote other letters revealing his plans to travel to India. Our life is very short. Krishna consciousness movement is not meant for fulfilling one's personal ambition, but it is a serious movement for the whole world. I am therefore going to the Eastern Hemisphere, beginning from Japan. We are going for in a party, and all of us are sannyasis. In this old age, I am going with this party just to set an example to my disciples who have taken recently the sannyas order. In preparing for Prabhupada's trip to India, Prabhupada's secretary Devananda, now Devananda Swami, asked him questions from the immigration form, mechanically reading the questions and filling in the answers as Prabhupada replied. Have you ever committed any criminal acts? Devananda asked, reading from the form. Prabhupada's eye widened. You are asking your spiritual master if he did anything criminal? And he turned to Bhagavan. You see, I am simply surrounded by people I cannot trust. It is a dangerous situation. Prabhupada sat in his garden the night before his departure. Don't be disturbed. He told the disciples with him. We are not going backward, we are going forward. I will reveal everything to you, I will rectify. His strong words and criticisms, he said, had been to enlighten his disciples, to warn them and show them the subtleties of Maya. Karandar mentioned that the temple leaders had arranged that only a few devotees go with Prabhupada the next day to the airport. Where did this idea come from? Prabhupada asked. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs that when a saintly person leaves your company, all present should follow the departing vehicle as far as possible until it is out of sight. So the next day, the devotees all accompanied Prabhupada, chanting and dancing behind him through the long corridors of Los Angeles International Airport. After months with them, he was now leaving. Devotees cried. Prabhupada, dressed in new garments, his head freshly shaven, looked effulgent. He sat in the departure lounge, head held high, as grave and unfathomable as ever. He was embarking on a new adventure for Lord Chaitanya. He was old and might not return, he said, but his disciples should continue the Krishna consciousness movement seriously. If you follow this new schedule, he said, you will keep Maya from attacking. And then he left them. En route to Japan, uh, Prabhupada stopped overnight in um, Hawaii. He stayed in a motel, and Gaurasundara and Govinda Dasi came to talk with him. Govinda Dasi wanted Prabhupada to stay and install the deities for Radha and Krishna in the temple. If Gaurasundara agreed, Prabhupada said he would stay a few days longer to perform the deity installation. Let me consult, Gaurasundara replied. And the next day Prabhupada flew on to Japan. From Japan, Prabhupada wrote Govinda Dasi. It is very encouraging to learn that people inquired about me and were eager to hear my speaking. I could have stayed 1 or 2 more days. There was no hurry, but you did not make any arrangement. I personally proposed to Gaura Sundara that I shall install the deities, and he replied that let me consult. But he never informed me of the result of that consultation and with whom he had to consult. So this is the present situation in our ISKCON society. It is clear that a great mischievous propaganda was lightly made, and the effect has created a very unfavorable situation, and I am very much afflicted in this connection. Still, there is time to save the society out of this mischievous propaganda, and I hope all of you combine together to do the needful. At the Tokyo airport, Prabhupada was greeted by executives of Dai Nippon Printing Company, the printers of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the 20,000 monthly copies of Bhagavad Back to Godhead. Prabhupada and his entourage rode in a limousine courtesy of Dai Nippon to a small private apartment about 45 minutes from the temple. Prabhupada had developed a severe cough and several other symptoms of ill health. Due, he said to his disciples' behavior. Yet, despite his illness, he would talk for hours of his concern for ISKCON, especially with his traveling GBC secretary Tamal Krishna. Soon after their arrival in Japan, Prabhupada's secretary received a disturbing call from a devotee attending the society-wide Janmashtami celebration at New Vrindavan. Four of the newly initiated sannyasis had arrived, the devotees said, and were teaching a strange philosophy. Devotees were confused. Prabhupada had left America, the sannyasis were saying, because he had rejected his disciples. The sannyasis were blaming themselves and other disciples for not realizing that Prabhupada was actually Krishna. When Prabhupada heard this, he said, "This is why I did not go. I knew this would happen. This is impersonalism." He refined the Mayavad misconception of the Guru and Krishna. If one says that Guru is God, or if Guru himself says that he is God, that is Mayavad philosophy. For the Mayavadis, spiritual realization is realization of one's identity with Brahman, the all-pervading spirit. Despite their austerities and their detachment from materialistic society, and despite their study of Vedanta sutras and commentaries of Sankara, they mistakenly think that Krishna's body, name, pastimes, service, and devotees are all facets of Maya or illusion. Therefore, they are called Mayavadis. A Mayavad, the spiritual master, does not reveal to his disciple the holy name of Krishna, the holy pastimes of Krishna, or transcendental form of Krishna, since the Mayavadis consider all these Maya. Instead, the Guru explains the oneness of all things, teaching the disciple that the concept of separate existence and ego is illusion. The Mayavadis sometimes compare the Guru to a ladder. One uses the ladder to reach a higher position, but if the ladder is no longer needed, one kicks it away. Coughing intermittently and speaking with physical discomfort, Prabhupada explained the Mayavadis' dangerous misconceptions. The impersonalist held a cheap mundane view of Guru, the Guru's worship, and Guru's instructions. If one says that the Guru is God and God is not a person, then it follows logically that Guru has no eternal personal relationship with his disciples. Ultimately, the disciple will become equal to Guru, or in other words, he will realize that he too is God. Arguing from the Vedic scripture, Prabhupada refuted the Mayavadi claims. The individual souls, he said, are Krishna's eternal servants, and this master servant relationship is eternal. Service to Krishna, therefore, is spiritual activity. Only by serving the Guru, however, can a disciple fully revive his eternal relationship with Krishna. The Vedic literature gives paramount importance to serving the spiritual master. He is the representative of God, the direct manifest link to God. No one can approach God but through him. Lord Krishna says, "Those who are directly by my devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are devotees of my servant, the spiritual master, are factually my devotees." For hours, Prabhupada drilled his disciples. He would pose a Mayavad argument, then ask his disciple to defeat it. If they failed, he would defeat it itself. He stressed that the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple was eternal, not because the Guru was Krishna, but because he was the confidential servant of Krishna eternally. A bona fide spiritual master never says that he is Krishna or that Krishna is impersonal. The devotees began to understand how the offenses of minimizing Srila Prabhupada's position were products of Mayavad philosophy. For the Mayavadi, to increase devotion to the Guru is unnecessary. If individual relationships are all ultimately illusion, why increase the illusion? If master-servant relationship is ultimately illusion, then the less the disciple sees his guru as master and himself as servant, the more he is advancing. The Mayavad philosophy was subtle and insidious poison. At least Prabhupada had been spared the pain of being personally present in the new Vrindavan to witness the Mayavad ranting of certain of his disciples and the appalling display of ignorance of most of others. He had his small entourage and was on his way to preach in India. While here in Tokyo, he would try to obtain many back-to-garden magazines and Krishna books to take with him. Prabhupada observed Janmashtami at his apartment by having disciples read aloud to him from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, throughout the day. If they kept reading, he said they might be able to finish the book in one day. The devotees had decorated Prabhupada's room with leaves and flowers strung from the ceiling and along the walls, and Prabhupada sat on a thin mattress behind his desk, hearing the pastimes of Krishna. At 7 p.m., after fasting all day, the devotees were still reading to him when he asked if they would be able to finish the book by midnight. The devotees replied that they would not. Then you stop. I will read. Prabhupada opened a Sanskrit volume of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and for the next 2 hours chanted the Sanskrit verses. You cannot understand the Sanskrit, he said, but I know you can feel. The verses are so potent that just by hearing one can be purified. During the reading, Kirtanananda Swami and Kartikeya Swami cooked a feast in the kitchen. At midnight, the devotees served Srila Prabhupada the Janmashtami feast. Taking only a few bites, he watched his disciples eat heartily. The next day was Vyasa Puja, Prabhupada's 74th birthday, and he went to the Tokyo ISKCON temple. The temple was only two rooms, one for living, one for worshipping, with Japanese grass mats on the floor. Prabhupada sat to the right of the altar looking at Lord Jagannath, while his disciples sat on the floor before him singing Guru Ashtakam. None of them, however, knew exactly how to conduct the Vyasa Puja ceremony, and after a while, they ended the kirtan. In the painfully awkward moments that followed, the devotees realized they were supposed to do something special. But what? Prabhupada appeared angry. Don't you have Pushpa Yatra? Isn't Prasadam ready? The devotees looked at one another. This is not Vyasa Puja, Prabhupada said. You have not been to Vyasa Puja before? Don't you know how to celebrate the Vyasa Puja? How to honor the spiritual master? One of the sannyasis began to cry. Tamal Krishna, Prabhupada said, didn't you see how I observed my Guru Maharaj's birthday? Where is Pushpa? Pushpa is Sanskrit for flowers. Pushpa? Tamal Krishna decided Prabhupada must mean Pushpanna, a fancy rice dish. I am not sure, he said. What kind of Vyasa Puja is this with no Pushpa? Prabhupada asked. We can get some, Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna offered. Tamal Krishna grabbed Sudama. Prabhupada wants prasadam. He wants pushpana rice. They ran into the kitchen and hurriedly started the rice. Meanwhile, in the temple, the devotees struggled through their version of a Vyasa Puja ceremony. Kirtananda Swami stood and began to read aloud from the introduction of Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure, which included a short biography of Prabhupada. But Prabhupada interrupted, scolding his disciples for concocting and for acting improperly. If you don't know, he said, then why didn't you ask me how to do this properly? The Japanese guests present didn't understand English, but they could see the spiritual master was disturbed. Prabhupada explained that in the devotional service everything must be done properly according to Parampara method without concocting. We will observe Vyasa Puja again tomorrow, he said. Come to my room, I will tell you what to do. Next day, after a simple traditional ceremony, the devotees felt ecstatic. Afterward, they agreed. When one displeases his spiritual master, there is no happiness. But as soon as the spiritual master is pleased, the disciple becomes blissful. The Janmashtami Vyasa Puja festival in New Vrindavan had become a nightmare. Hundreds of devotees has converged there from the East Coast with many others from California and even Europe. They had come for a blissful festival but instead had found Srila Prabhupada's newly initiated sannyasis expounded a devastating philosophy. The sannyasis, speaking informally to groups here and there, would explain how the devotees had offended Prabhupada and how he had subsequently withdrawn his mercy. The sannyasis revealed their special insights that Prabhupada was actually God, that none of his disciples had recognized him as such, and that all of them, therefore, beginning with the sannyasis, were guilty of minimizing his position. And that was why Prabhupada had left for India. He had withdrawn his mercy from his disciples. The devotees were devastated. None of them knew what to say in reply. The sannyasis, by their preaching, had projected gloom everywhere, which was proper. They said everyone should feel guilty and realize that they had lost the grace of their spiritual master. No use trying to cheer one another up by chanting Hare Krishna or eating a feast. Everyone should accept the bitter medicine. Although Prabhupada had given his disciples 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as Bhagavad Gita, as it is the nectar of devotion, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and other literature, none of the devotees were well versed in them. Many devotees wondered if the philosophy the sannyasis were preaching was correct, but none of them knew enough of the scriptures to immediately refute. The devotees turned to the new GBC men, Prabhupada appointed leaders and guardians of ISKCON. The GBC, along with other senior devotees, began carefully searching through with Prabhupada's books to ascertain exactly what he had said about the position of spiritual master. Then Haigriva announced that a letter had just arrived from Srila Prabhupada in Tokyo. As soon as the devotees all gathered under the pavilion roof to hear, Haigriva read aloud, "My dear sons and daughters." And then Prabhupada listed almost all the new Vrindavan residents. The devotees immediately felt a wave of hope. Just to hear Prabhupada say, "My dear sons and daughters," was a great relief. Hagriva continued to read, "Please accept my blessings." Prabhupada hadn't rejected them. The letter went on to say that Srila Prabhupada was pleased with the work of New Vrindavan devotees and he promised to come and visit them. Soon he would send for other devotees to join him in India, he said. As he described what preaching in India would be like, the devotees became caught up in the momentum of Srila Prabhupada's preaching spirit. They cheered, they felt blissful. Then Prabhupada specifically referred to the difficulty facing ISKCON. Purge out of New Vrindavan the non-Vrindavan atmosphere that has entered. His letter turned the tide against the Mayavad teachings. The GBC then called a meeting of all disciples in the temple room. Reading selections from the Nectar of Devotion, they established that the spiritual master, although not God, should be honored as much as God because he is the confidential servant of God. Several senior devotees spoke their heart's conviction, citing examples from their association with Prabhupada to prove that he had not rejected them. He was so kind. He was too kind. The sannyasis might feel rejected because of their own guilt, someone said, but they should not project their guilt on others. The false teaching, however, had dealt a blow from which many devotees would need time to recover. Newcomers at the festival were especially unsettled, but the cloud of gloom that has hung over New Vrindavan now lifted, thanks to Srila Prabhupada's timely letter. The sannyasis admitted their confusion. The GBC then phoned Kirtanananda in Tokyo and told him that Prabhupada's letter has resolved most of the problems, but the sannyasis still held their misconceptions. Hearing this, Prabhupada felt his suspicions confirmed. Certain disciples had been contaminated by the poisonous philosophy from India. Consequently, material desires for power and control has overwhelmed them even in Prabhupada's presence. Turning to Tamal Krishna, Sudama, and 3 sannyasis with him, Prabhupada asked what they thought should be done. With the previous day's philosophical drilling still sharp in their minds, they suggested that anyone teaching Mayavad philosophy should not be allowed to stay within ISKCON. Prabhupada agreed. If these sannyasis continued to preach Mayavad philosophy, he said, they should not be allowed to stay in his temples but should go out and preach on their own. Tamal Krishna conveyed this message to the GBC in the US and Prabhupada was satisfied that the problem would be adjusted. He had created his GBC to handle such matters. On September 2nd, Prabhupada wrote Hamsaduta in Germany. Reading the poisonous effect in our society, it is a fact, and I know where from this poison tree has sprung up and how it affected practically the whole society in a very dangerous form. But it does not matter. Prahlad Maharaj was administered poison, but it did not uh, act. Similarly, Lord Krishna and the Pandavas were administered poison and it did not act. I think in the same parampara system that the poison administered to our society will not act if some of our students are as good as Prahlad Maharaj. I have therefore given the administrative power to the governing body commission. To Hayagriva in New Vrindavan, Prabhupada wrote, I am very glad to know that the GBC is actively working to rectify the subversive situation which has been weakening the very foundation of our society. All you members of the GBC, please always remain very vigilant in these connections so that our society's growth may go on unimpeded by such poisonous elements. Your preaching in New Vrindavan as well as intensified study of our literatures with seriousness is very much encouraging. Please continue this program with vigor and re-establish the solidity of our movement. From the beginning, I was strongly against the impersonalist, and all my books stressed on this point. So my oral instruction as well as my books are all at your service. Now you GBC consult them and get a clear and strong idea. Then there will be no more disturbance. The four sannyasis may bark, but still the caravan will pass. Prabhupada wrote Satsvarupa in Boston. I am very glad to know that you are not affected by the propaganda of the sannyasis, that I am displeased with all the members of the society. I am very displeased with any member. The worst was over, Prabhupada thought. For months, this problem had upset him and his writing. Relentlessly, he had instructed his disciples for their own benefit and for the benefit of his movement. The disease had taken its toll, and that was unfortunate. But the devotees were being forced to turn to Prabhupada's book and apply their teachings, and that was the positive outcome. Now they should clearly understand the position of the spiritual master and never again be led astray by false philosophies and sentiments. Prabhupada's main business in Tokyo was with Dai Nippon. Considering him an important author and a venerable religious monk, they had provided him a car and apartment. Each morning they sent a private car to drive Prabhupada to Imperial Palace Park, where he could take his morning walk. Prabhupada liked the neatly planted trees and gravel walks, and he appreciated the habits of the Japanese people. As he would pass, elderly ladies would bow to him from the waist, and others would fold their hands, respectfully acknowledging his being an old man. On the morning of Prabhupada's meeting with Dai Nippon, he came out of his apartment with Tamal Krishna and Devanand Maharaj and got into the back seat of Dai Nippon company car. The car proceeded through the early morning streets and Prabhupada chanted his Gayatri Mantra silently. Dai Nippon junior executive escorted Prabhupada and his two disciples into elevator and up to a spacious room with a long conference table. Prabhupada's guide cordially offered him a seat at the table and Prabhupada sat down with Tamal Krishna and Devanand Maharaj on either side. Soon they entered Dai Nippon's six top executives, including the corporation president. Each stood behind his respective chair, and each in turn, beginning with the president, bowed slightly from the waist and presented his calling card. Addressing Prabhupada as Your Divine Grace, they introduced themselves, announced their posts, and took their seats. We are very honored to have you here, the president began. You are a great religious author, and it is our great privilege to be publishing your books. After the president had spoken briefly, tea was served. Prabhupada requested hot milk. Conversation was informal, and Prabhupada spoke of the importance of his mission and his Krishna conscious literature. No one discussed business, however, and the Nippon executives soon excused themselves. They would meet again the next morning. When Prabhupada was again alone in the room with his disciples and the junior executive who was escorted him, he asked the young Japanese, So, what is your goal in life? By way of answer, the man gathered up all the business cards that lay scattered before Prabhupada on the table and stacked them with the presidents on top. Then the five vice presidents and so on, putting his own card in its place on the bottom. He then dramatically removed his card from the bottom of the stack and slapped it on top. A graphic answer to Prabhupada's question. Prabhupada smiled. To become president of the company, he said, was temporary. All material life was temporary. He explained on the basis of Bhagavad Gita that the body was temporary and that the self was eternal. All the ideas and positions people hankered after were based on the bodily conception of life and would one day be frustrated. The purpose of life, therefore, was not to become the temporary president of the temporary corporation within the temporary material world, but to realize eternal soul relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and gain eternal life. Prabhupada spoke for almost half an hour while the man listened politely. At the next day's meeting, negotiations began. The conference room was different. The table smaller, and three of Nippon's international sales representatives sat opposite Prabhupada. Prabhupada presented his price, $1.35 per book. Oh, your divine grace! One of the salesmen exclaimed. It is not possible for us to give this price. We will lose too heavily. We cannot afford. They explained their position, quoting paper costs and other expenses. Prabhupada began to speak about his mission. ISKCON's book distribution, he said, was a charitable work for benefit of all humanity. ISKCON distributed these books for whatever donations people were able to make, and he received no profit or royalties. It was spiritual education, the most valuable literature. In any case, Prabhupada said in closing, "You deal with my secretary in this regard," and he sat back in his chair. The burden on was on Tamal Krishna. Tamal Krishna began by saying that Prabhupada had been too kind because ISKCON could actually never pay such a high price. He then quoted a price 40 cents lower per book than Prabhupada quote. Mr. Tamal Krishna, the salesmen were again upset. Please reconsider your point. A polite argument ensued. Suddenly, Prabhupada interrupted, presenting himself as an impartial third party. He said he would settle the difference that had arisen between his secretary and the salesman. I have heard both sides, he said. I feel that the price should be 1.25 per book. That's all. Yes, your divine grace. The salesman agreed. That is all right. Sorry, that is right. After further negotiations, Prabhupada agreed on a contract that included a reprint of Volume 1 and a first printing of Volume 2 of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, two issues of Back to Godhead, a Hindi issue of Back to Godhead, and a new book, Sri Ishopanishad. ISKCON had to pay $5,000 cash, and Dai Nippon would deliver everything on credit. Prabhupada held a feast at his apartment for Dai Nippon executives who especially liked the samosas and pakoras. They presented Prabhupada with a watch and continued to see to his comfort during his stay in Tokyo. Prabhupada almost met a Canadian-born Japanese boy, Bruce, who was seriously interested in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada invited him to come and join him in India, and the boy eagerly agreed. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you for reading today. You don't seem so well also.
Is it?
And yeah, you are coughing all through, Prabhuji.
Uh-huh.
So thank you for, for reading for us for 1 hour in between. Yeah, we felt that maybe some of us can take the reading part. But yeah, very essential, nice chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, while reading, I was thinking that those disciples who got this misconception of Prabhupada disciples, definitely, even if they can also fall into the clutches of Maya, then who we are, how careful we have to be. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is also right. I think Prabhupada is mentioning two important things through this, and this is not what we call what do you? It's not like Prabhupada is forecasting something to happen, but it actually happened. and what the corrective measures that were taken are uh, a message to us. And Prabhupada used the right opportunities to be very strong. And so this is what can happen if we do not have the right basis. Then we we grow in all different shapes and forms, right? Yeah, that's why it's very important. Like if you see that military discipline, we see that discipline is making them actually to easily follow what is the instruction from the main guy. Yeah, because Prabhupada, yeah, is one man from whom everything is imparted, and he is the one whom to be kind of seen and all. But if people start thinking, okay, now I understood all the philosophy, now I understood what Prabhupada wants, and with that feeling of I am intelligent, that can take us. Or this is also even after Prabhupada left the world, also we see sometimes where people are going to non-ISKCON organizations, or people who go to India, they think, this Babaji spirit is even higher than Prabhupada. So all these kind of things come. Yeah, this is mainly coming because of not understanding what Prabhupada really is telling. Yeah, yeah, nice point. Personally, Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I think Prabhupada, he actually literally explained how a spiritual master has to be respected, treated. I mean even from his side also it will be quite difficult, right, Prabhuji, that without because disciples, I mean this incident in Japan during Vyas Puja, I mean, at one point of the time, as a spiritual master, he has to stay humble, but at the same time, he should also explain the importance of treating the spiritual master so that this practice is carried across, across the other generations. Like even now, if you see all the spiritual masters when they're leaving, the disciples follow till the vehicle is left from the site.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we are coming from Indian background, also we may not know these things, right? Because this knowledge we don't know. Yeah. First of all, we don't wait until the spiritual masters or the gurus. Yeah. I'm not talking about ISKCON in general. Even before coming to ISKCON, we would not know these things because we only are busy with our own thing. I have a time from 9 to 8 or 8 to 9, sorry. And then after finishing that, I want to leave. Yeah. I have to go very far. And all these things, we don't know what are these importance. And so usually we see that. I mean, Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj, he said, I mean, when Maharaj is leaving, then devotees are chanting Hare Krishna, doing kirtans, yeah. And we thought that's what, right? If you see this Prabhupāda-līlāmṛta, it appears like that. No, I mean, Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj says, no, you should sing Narsimha prayer, Narsimha Arti for the protection. So, yeah. So when we are in association of great personalities, then we really get that. And Nath Prabhu, you mentioned a very nice point. If someone has accepted someone as a guru, it could be Siksha Guru or a Diksha Guru, then this element is very, very delicate, right? If the guru is telling, you should honor um, uh, great respect to the guru, it appears like, okay, is he demanding or commanding? I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of quite delicate. And in spite of that, to really establish the position as is, right? To
Yes.
really show that, yes, Guru is the beacon of light for one's own journey of life. Yeah. And even, very, very basic, like offering flowers to Guru is one thing. And also, usually I see this like when it comes to the Vyasa Puja, yeah. Why the gurus allow this is not because that everyone is hearing what glorifications are going on. Yeah. It is said that the Vyasa Puja offering should be done in public. So that one is purifying himself, yeah, in this offering, and also and the Guru is everyone realizes that position of the Guru is representative of Lord or even Lord, yeah, but not that he is Krishna, but he is Krishna's with the first of yes. So and he's representing the Guru, representing the Lord. And that's why it is a Vyasa Puja tradition. The ceremony is Pushpanjali, offering flowers. Yeah, we do Guru Puja, right? Why? So that we offer flowers. Yeah, it's not that okay, only the Arati is done. Every disciple present there is offering flowers. Hmm? This is offering our heart to the Guru. Yeah, this is one thing. And second thing is expressing. One may think that okay, relation between the Guru and disciple is very intimate and very personal. So why should it be disclosed in a Vyasa Puja by reading out loudly the offering? Yeah. So it shows that how much it means to you, and at the same time acknowledging the role of Guru in one's life, so that others also thinks yes, I should also be so aspiring. So that I can also offer my service. I can so this whole ceremony is not a kind of okay, what is this all of a sudden? Yeah, at least if someone is non-ISKCON, when he sees he'll think, what is this whole thing happening? A puja is performed to a living person, and glorifications, and when we talk about Vyasa Puja offering, this Vyasa Puja offering is a glorification where the spiritual master is not addressed. Oh spiritual master, as good as Lord Krishna, I am telling you, it's not like that. These offerings should be very genuine glorification, and adding a touch of one's own personal experiences. So all this package together is an offering. Offering itself means that I am giving you this small thing. What can we give to the Guru who has given us everything? So at least as part of the Vyasa Puja ceremony, this is what one is given. So yeah, this is very nice occasion where we read through this episode where Prabhupada is saying that yes, Vyasa Puja is very important. Guru should be offered respect. Guru should be offered everything. After all, because of our Guru only, we are advancing. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, we take this opportunity to wish you a very happy Krishna conscious birthday.
Oh.
A very happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji. And yeah, thank you a lot, not just for today and for
at least show your face if you can. At least I'm hearing it's very awkward, na, that Maharaj says, saying to myself, and it's like a radio.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, half of the wishes we will tell you today, and the other half on Ekadashi.
Oh, you have a big plan.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Like, simply saying thanks will never be enough for us, because you are the one who connected us to the spiritual master, but before that also, that initial gyan, the initial knowledge, the experience, how to do, what to do, everything you only taught us, Prabhuji. And simply, I am the mercy case of yours, that your prayer that today we are devotee, that still a long way for us to go. But yeah, we feel that at least we have started. Otherwise, we can't just imagine what our life would have been. So thank you, Prabhuji. I know that we are not so idle or we have so many flaws, but please forgive us and just keep on holding us so that we just did not stop anywhere. So it's something like on your birthday, I am asking from you. It's very odd offering, but yeah, Prabhuji. And apart from that, there is a lot of love, Prabhuji, for you and for the family, for our entire family. Yeah, Prabhuji, just speechless. Yeah, it's not just like a teacher-student relationship, definitely there is.
We have a brother-sister relation. You are 14 days younger, elder than me. You are my Didi, huh?
Hmm. Yeah, but there is really some heartfelt connection also, Prabhuji, that I have always felt.
So today morning, actually, Varsha was saying, yeah, I mean, we should write a message on WhatsApp. But we were thinking, what can I write about Sudama Prabhu? So, I mean, if I start writing, then it will never end. But only one thing, what I can say is, Prabhuji is today in Leela, Śrīla Prabhupāda-līlāmṛta chapter, there was a statement where now it is a battle between Maya. We were in the battlefield now. One side there is Maya, the other side there is Krishna. So I think if not with your association and guidance, we would have been stuck in other world where it would be completely Maya. We would have been chasing maybe some known Maya goals. But now at least
We are in the battlefield.
We are in the battlefield now. Because it was only due to your guidance and the association of our Parivartan group that now at least we are in the battlefield. Now we have to choose. I mean, we have to go towards Krishna. And as a Siksha Guru, you have motivated us, inspired us in many ways. And even during our Guru Disciple course also, whenever the course explained regarding the importance of Siksha Guru, it was you always in our mind. And yes, Prabhuji, so during on this occasion we pray for Lord Narasimhadev that you will have great health so that you can do great service, great wonders, and many people like us will come onto this path. So this is my humble, honest prayer that you should have great health. You should be blessed with great health, great strength, great protection.
And yes, Prabhuji, one more thing I would like to add. I know maybe I don't have a great vision of myself being something, but I definitely know you have a great vision for all of us to fulfill our Guru. So I just wish that somehow I can play my part and fulfill that vision of yours. So yeah, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep.
We can't thank you enough.
Your blessings. Your blessings are most important for me. Yeah. I think even Apu Prabhu was writing that, yeah, he would pray to the Lord for my health recovery. Plus, he also wrote that what he wrote was, yeah, that you will follow it. Yeah.
Maintain it or something.
Yeah. I don't. So he wrote. Yeah, he was writing like. Yeah. So I will pray that you will be in good health for upcoming years, and you will not neglect. You will also not neglect.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
And how was the day, Prabhuji, at your end? We could feel that, yeah, today you are having cold and.
Yeah, was nice. Yeah. Kept me busy anyway, but was nice.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji. Now we are waiting to hear from our God. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Condition is they have to turn on the video. That is the condition.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Jai Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday to you.
Hare
I have
Krishna.
many things to say, but don't have sufficient word. And already Mataji and Prabhuji, told.
I've already told. Yes.
Yeah. But still have to so much to say, but really don't have the words, sufficient words. But thank you so much for everything to you and Rupa Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for.
Where are you?
So okay. Can you see me, Prabhuji?
Now I can see.
Yeah. Yes,
Now
yes,
you have a
Prabhuji.
mirror. You have a mirror to get ready. You have so
Yeah.
much light in the background.
No, Prabhuji.
Acha, that was
It's like
artificial.
filter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. So
That looks like your old house where behind there is this, no? Next from your window.
actually, why there's a filter? I don't know.
Now there is a filter.
Actually, from my there is a Narasimha Swami photo, Prabhuji, the back.
I can't see now because of the
Yeah,
filter.
I don't know why this filter is there.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, today class is so interesting, Prabhuji, and also there's a coincidence of Prabhupada Vyasa Puja and also like your birthday. I felt very happy to hear this, and
Prabhupada made it simple for me. Yeah. Huh? He made it very nice, timing everything, so that I don't have to, create something.
yes,
I used to tell to Prabhupāda-līlāmṛta ji, time, place, and circumstance. I believe in that. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, actually, yeah, words are not coming now. all actually what I want to say, Varsana Mataji and Dinanath Prabhu already told all the points. Yes, Prabhuji, and yeah, Prabhuji.
Ramesh
I'm
is
very
saying
happy.
something.
Very happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Thanks, Amma. Take care.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Think I have not yet read any of your messages, but I'm very sure that it's all about your love and affection and your blessings. So, yeah, I will definitely read and be thankful for that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Make sure Pantadani Kadu, but
Hey, Baba. You are the senior most.
my age-wise,
Very-
I'm senior, Prabhuji, but Bhakti-wise,
No, not that. Yeah. So I don't even know one verse of Gopi Geet. I don't even know that, and I have what to talk about with love. Yeah. So even if I read now to come to your level, I think I'll take lot of number of years.
My God, Prabhuji. Chapkan, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Take care, Prabhuji. Take care of your health, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Please.
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good. One more. Mhm.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Krishna conscious birthday. We wish that
Oh.
Lord Narasimhadev gives you all protection and very good, healthy Krishna conscious life ahead. You are already leading by example, and
because of you we join in this call. So by your guidance we are whatever we are right now in the Krishna consciousness.
Hmm. I wish you also lead a lot ahead of me, but when you go so ahead of me, also pull me that I can be with you.
so just give us your blessings, and that's what we
Yeah,
we can
will.
offer. We can just ask.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
At
Well,
least
I
this
was-
time, is there a video this time or?
Yeah.
I think you said this in nice mode, Prabhuji. Only you can see the video.
You are not seeing. I'm really. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I think maybe
Yeah,
you
we
should
cannot
have
see.
your own. Okay. Let me do one thing. What is it called? Gallery? No, immersive. Is it immersive? Yes. I think let's see one setting at least. Yes. What will happen? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Can you see now? Even then
We
you
can
go. Then you go in your own setting because I can see you in a classroom.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
We can also see.
But we cannot see Adra's Prabhu.
Oh, that is privacy. Only I can see that. That is surprising. Yeah, there should be definitely a good setting. You are not able to see Adrasa Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Even Sindhu Mataji also we did not see.
Yeah, even she didn't turn on. But anyway, I am seeing. Yeah, I am seeing. Thank you. You just change the view. Go to change immersive view, and then click
We don't
on.
have any option, Prabhuji, to see the view, to change the view.
Okay. No, it will be there on the top.
In meeting setting or?
Yeah, on the top there will be something called view, na? Top right corner.
No, Prabhuji, it does not show.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you can't even see yourself. That is very awkward.
Yeah, I mean, we can see ourselves and you, Prabhuji. You are sitting in the middle.
Yeah, but that is possible because you're not seeing Dinath Prabhu, na?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's not me. It's a tool.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji,
Okay.
once again, happy Krishna conscious birthday.
Thank you, Mataji.
And yeah, we are very lucky that we have you in our life. Some points thode reh gaye the, so
Acha.
we'll cover that.
Yeah. Personally, Mataji, na, that's why she cleverly said, Ekadasi ke din baat karenge.
Yeah, she covered for all of us.
Most of the points she covered.
For all of us, yes. She's like a role model.
I wanted to tell her, please give opportunity for, but she did not stop.
No, Prabhuji, for us also, more points will come because while speaking, we forget, na? So we'll
No, Mata, you are the role model speaker for all of us, Mataji.
Yeah. So that's why if she speaks, na, then we say D2, and then we don't have to say.
Next time I will speak
Thank
at the end,
you.
Prabhuji.
Well, happy birthday, Prabhuji. Prabhuji.
Thank you, Gaurang.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you for everything, Prabhuji. Your care and concern towards us, it's remarkable, and we always feel like father and like brother, elder
With
brother.
that relationship, we already know, no? That father, mother, and daughters and
Daughter-in-law, son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Yeah.
दामाद.
दामाद. No raggings. यहाँ पे reverse होता है. Very strong, Mama ji.
Yes, and I was thinking to all the members, yeah, we can unmute ourselves and chant the Mahamantra for Prabhuji all together.
No, will it come properly? Yeah, give it a try anyway. At least one mantra can go in.
Yes.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Hare.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Prabhu ki
Jai.
बाद में बोलता हूँ गौरंग.
लेक्चर अच्छा लगा प्रभु जी का आपको? Yes. Yes. Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wish you very, very Krishna conscious birthday.
Joy. You always, just like in Maharaj class, same setup.
Yeah. So that we didn't know when to write you the message, like today or on Ekadashi. Both the days we can always.
You can read today and write on Ekadashi.
Happy birthday, Sudama Prabhuji.
Ah, Jai.
Happy
Yeah,
Krishna.
you got your teeth back? Really? So quickly? One came.
Yeah,
You already got those.
I got 2 back and 1 lost again yesterday.
Acha, acha. Hey, be careful. Ah, that. Oh. Yes.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Sudama Prabhuji.
Hari bol.
Thank you
Mehnat
for
karo.
the Prabhupāda-līlāmṛta classes. I like them.
Yes, even I like a lot. Yeah, a lot to know. So I
Thank
know
you.
one, very sure you'll join every session, right? Every Friday.
Yeah.
That's nice. So that inspires me to read every Friday.
Thank you for telling us the ghost stories.
Mm. Yeah. Next time, I have already prepared 3 stories now, ghost stories. When we see us, next time. Yeah, you have to stay here. Then only, with the nice light effect, red light, blue light, you'll get a lot of ghost stories. This time we will take Gaurang also, huh? He has the zombies.
Zombie.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Prabhuji, for everything. Yeah, as everybody is covered, Varshavila Mataji is covered. We will be, like you said, ditto. But yes, words are not enough for your selfless service and how you're really the role model and how a spiritual master's instructions we should follow and without thinking. And today's class also we saw that as on one call, everybody started coming to meet Śrīla Prabhupada. They didn't even know what is the reason. They didn't even expect what he's going to tell, but only yes has to be the word. Whatever he has in his mind, but we have to still say yes. Hopefully, we have that courage to say yes and become more. We are encouraged, but the yes coming of yes is very difficult because we think that we are less fortunate. That is right, but then also we don't think us that we will fulfill this as per your vision 100%. Maybe that is the lacking. Maybe I have that I will not fulfill it 100% as you imagine, and yeah, that perseverance has to come yet, but yeah, hopefully we will come to that mark and always fulfill your dreams. With your dreams we will help ourselves to see Maharaj's dreams, and that is only the way we can get it. Otherwise it's not possible for us. Thank you always for being with us. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for telling what is right when we go wrong. That too very humbly, even.
Humbly? My
Yes.
God.
That's all your mercy. We always take it. From Mataji also, you also. It's a lot to learn, still learning. It's not going to stop. And we will not ever achieve that thing. Means you are the top person for us. And when we look back, it is always that you are being the main person who has got us into this bhakti marg. Yeah, and yeah, we all have come from this parivartan phase to now enjoying the pure blissful times. So it's important for us to be in this and maintain, especially. I would like to maintain this till I achieve this devotional service full-heartedly and pure-heartedly. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're struggling a lot with the words, but I understand your heart. So I acknowledged everything heart to heart. Thank you very much. Yeah.
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 Thank
Very
you, bro.
nice. Yeah. That's it. I'm happy. No one left, right? No one left, I think. Yeah, I think everyone covered. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can only say that the more I reflect, I can understand that somehow I got into this service and it became my official service now. Yeah, because I'm not into this preaching seva. I'm more into kind of okay kirtans. Yeah, because of this, I'm not even practicing much kirtan now. When I think in the past, my taste was more in kirtans, that I used to kind of do kirtans or sing practice a lot. But yeah, somehow life took me to a different side of the journey, and now I'm doing more of preaching. Somehow it started, and then it's going on by the blessings of you all. Yeah, because you are there, because you have committed to be part of this parivartan or the pure bliss times. Yeah, I have opportunity to serve. Yeah, I told to even Maharaj, yeah, when he was at our home, I told Maharaj, I mean, I don't have to do anything. I have just opened a shop where customers come on their own. They buy what they want, because they have a great interest for bhakti. I have just been able to do this. And then, yeah, I think Rupa is here in the call. She can say, Maharaj was clearly telling, your service is go out and make devotees. So for you, the count may be 10. For me, the count, I don't know what is the count. Big, big target. So, which means you have trained me properly to talk to people, how to talk to people, how to handle humbly. So, yeah, let's see where it goes, what it can come. The more I reflect on Maharaj instructions and yeah, the spirit of Maharaj, these blessings are very much needed, because Maharaj has big plans. I think if he lives for 10 more years, what he could achieve, yeah, is we can't even imagine. So at least he has left that on our shoulders. When was it? I think Maharaj was telling Monday. In Monday class, na, he was telling.
Yeah, last Monday class.
Question and answer.
Yeah, I think that's what now I was posting in our group to don't miss it. If we miss that, then we miss it. Yeah. So yeah, so that puts us in more serious seat. Yeah, that we have to take the spirit of Maharaj. He kept it very simple. Our all Maharaj mode is preaching, Sankirtan, which is going to people to preach, to spread. So for that, all your hands, minds, hearts, everything is fully utilized. Don't worry that you are underperforming. Don't feel that you are not fully loaded. If you feel that you want to do something, yeah, I have great plans. And yeah, I think there are already to-do list in your case now. So in every one of us, yeah, I think we have a to-do. And for me, I have a big to-do to see if Maharaj, what he expects from me, I very well easily know now. Yeah, at least the message is pretty clear. So yeah, with all your support, I think I can really make it. Yeah. Yeah, it's my birthday. Please smile, everyone. Claps. And what is that? No Hari Bols, nothing.
Haribol.
You can also sing Prabhuji.
This is also I
Happy
should have
Christmas.
told. Yeah, Prabhupada he was saying na, he should also say not only flowers, not only Prabhupada missed that part. Yeah.
We can sing
But
also
anyway.
Happy Krishna Conscious Birthday.
Oh no. Yeah.
Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna.
But it won't come. It won't come so nicely. Yeah. But as I said, thank you very much. And yeah, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
His Holiness Kadam Karan Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Sudama Prabhu ki.
Sudama Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.